and welcome to 4,000 and Counting. I'm Watty, and today I'm joined by Swindon Wildcats netminder, Mr. Tyler Perry. Tyler, thanks for joining 4,000 and Counting, mate.
It's all right. Appreciate it. Appreciate the call.
Well, we've had you on our charity game, and obviously we've known each other for a very long time. Some things I was just learning off air is obviously we shared a post on 4,000 and Counting a couple of weeks back where you went into surgery. You had a successful surgery. I think like 1,000 people liked it and jumped on, so everyone's kind of got your back and rooting for you. And we were just like discussing the fact that you're 25 off air. And I was like, yeah, it's like the second time. And you're like, nope,
Yeah.
this your
Yeah.
fifth surgery.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through like the first time that you found out that you had cancer and kind of what age you were and how you felt like because obviously everyone hears the cancer word. We all know
Yeah.
someone that's had it, got it, died from it, whatever it may be. It must have been pretty scary for yourself.
Yeah. I guess kind of at the time it was 2019, 2020. So I was with the Devils at the time, and throughout the year on my back there was just a lump growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And we'd just gone into COVID, so like at the time all the hospitals were shut and it wasn't giving me any pain really, and I just kind of left it, which is probably the worst thing you can do, is just leave it. So
Mhm.
it got to about 2021 right at the start and said, oh, I should probably get this thing checked out. So I went to a couple appointments. One guy said this, one guy said that, and then finally I got a biopsy on it, and they pretty much said it's a cancerous tumor. And as soon as that was confirmed, they pretty much went straight in and got a surgery done. And that was about the size of a tennis ball.
Okay.
Um, the first one, but that was very obvious that lump shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And the tumor they found, there's a long name for it, but I don't know what it's called. But it's basically a tumor that's supposed to grow in your spine, but mine was like a rare one that's growing outside of my spine. So luckily, where it was, they could easily get to it. So they just like cut the outside of your skin open and they just take it out.
Yeah.
And that was in 2021. And
Because if
then
that
like
had grown into your spine,
yeah,
you could
then
have been
it's
roy you could have been
yeah,
royally fucked. You'd have been in a
yeah,
wheelchair and
exactly.
all
Yeah.
sorts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I had no symptoms, and it was just a lump there that was just in the way. So once they found out it was bad, it, obviously got it taken out. And then ever since then, I've had scans every 3 months, every 6 months, and that's when they've just kept finding more and more. Unfortunately,
So, like, obviously, after you get the first one, whereabouts in your back was it? Sorry.
so it was like right on my coccyx, so like right at the
Yeah.
bottom of the spine. So they took out a piece of my spine at the bottom to go with
Okay.
it, just so it had the margin there.
Yeah.
And then so that one got done, and then like a
Did
couple
did
months
you
later,
feel it on your goalie shots? Did you feel it on the back of your pants? Was it like rubbing or anything? Or
yeah, it was obvious that it was there and shouldn't be there. I just too
did the man
ignorant
thing?
to get anything done.
Yes.
Yeah, did a man thing and just got on with it. But yeah, obviously, like I should have got it checked out way before, but there was a lot of other things like COVID. Like every hospital was shut pretty much
Mhm.
unless you had COVID. So there was that as well. And I wasn't in too much pain. I kind of just got on with it. So I just like, oh, just get on with it. But once it got sorted out, obviously I was very much looked after.
You touched on there, like you then got followed up with kind of like pretty regular scans, whether it be 3 months, whether it be 6 months. You obviously said again off air that you've had five surgeries. So at what point when you were getting into these like next scans, 3 months, 6 months, did it come back?
So after the first surgery, I'll just go through the whole timeline.
Yeah, go, yeah, yeah.
So just 2021 summer. So like the streaming series was on. So like I was
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
in
yeah, I
that.
remember.
Yeah. So that finished, and then I got the opportunity to, because then the Elite League had their like streaming series,
Hmm.
and I had like an opportunity to be in that draft because I was with the Devils as my previous club. But then I spoke to Kinger and Ewan King, that is, said, "Oh, I need to go get a surgery. Should I hold it off or go try and play in this elite thing?" And he said, "No, get a surgery."
Get
So
surgery, yeah.
yeah, that was that, and I think that was May, April time that was happening because it was before GB went away
That's right.
for the World Championships. So got that first surgery done. Then literally like 2 months later, found one in my abdomen, which is in the front. And then as soon as I found that, straight in and out. So that was September or August, September. So
Yeah.
those two were done. Then I signed in Bristol in NIHL 1. I play the whole year. And then come April time, they find 3 in me.
Shit.
So I've gone from 1 in my spine, 1 in my front to now 1 in my spine and 2 in my front.
Jeez.
So that was about April time. So we played playoffs, got to the final 4, lost in the semi-final in MK on the weekend. So that was a Saturday. Sunday, obviously, we didn't play because we weren't in the final. And then Monday was my surgery. So I literally played right up until
Like the most fucking hockey player thing ever.
yeah.
Just got 3 tumors, but we got a semi-final to play at the weekend, so I'm just gonna get on and get it done.
Yeah,
Were you
unfortunately, I lost Chelmsford in overtime, but
were
it
you
was a great game.
were you scared? Because you seem very chill, but I know you goalie
Maybe,
guys are weird and chilled anyway. Like you're
yeah,
just a chilled bunch of dudes. I get it, but was you scared
think
at all?
it's like it's tough because it was like, am I scared? Probably, but I didn't care. I thought hockey. Well, not I think like hockey's more important to me. I don't care. I'd rather
Got you.
worry about the hockey than worry about my own health, kind of thing. I wanted to win the semi-final. Like, I don't care what's coming on Monday. I'm very much like, my girlfriend hates this because like I just kind of very much live in the moment. I don't really care what's coming on tomorrow. I care about what's going on today.
Yeah.
So when I so that we don't plan anything.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But like I just wanted to like kind of live in the moment. I don't really care what's going to happen on Monday in a surgery when I've got in my eyes the semi-final is more important at that time.
Yeah.
So not so much scared because I've been treated so good by my doctors and I had my full trust in them. They were so amazing, and obviously they're the real heroes of the story. Like they've done what they've had to do, and I'm completely fine. So they allowed me not to be scared, if that makes sense.
They kind of reassured you, and you knew you were in safe hands.
Yeah, these were some smart people, so they were kind of
Yeah,
like, we'll do this and this and this, and it's going to be completely fine. And it's like, yeah, we're done.
so
But
obviously, sorry, mate, go on.
oh no, I'm just going to keep going with the timeline.
Yeah.
But so did that, and then so that was the biggest surgery I had. So I had 3 tumors taken out. So that was a 7-hour surgery. So they took
Wow.
the one out the spine, flipped me over, took the 2 out my front, and then a couple months later, I had to have the surgical site washed and sorted out because it got a little bit infected, and that's through no fault of anyone. But so
Was
that's
that painful?
it was more painful just the infection because it was like I then
Yeah.
got fever and it was really hot and just shit. But
Yeah.
that wasn't to do anything with like tumors or anything. That just life.
Yeah.
But that's now up to 4 surgeries, and then I had 6 weeks of radiation therapy in London. So the NHS put me up in a nice apartment in Camden with my
It's all
girlfriend,
right.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
and I'd have a radiation treatment every day for 6 weeks. So it was 30 rounds of like treatment, so once every weekday for 6 weeks, which sucked because it
I
like
say that's intense.
yeah, so there's 2 types of radiation therapy. There's like normal radiation therapy, and then there's this new one called like proton beam therapy, which is like more direct. And because my cancer was so rare and so aggressive, they were like, you need to do this one. And it was like a brand new hospital, like think it was like £500 million. They normally sent people off to Miami, but they've just built one in London, so I just missed out on that trip.
Just missed out on a bougie trip to Miami, eh?
Yeah, so I was put up in London for 6 weeks and got through the treatment there. So that's 4 surgeries and then 6 weeks of radiation. And then that I thought that was it. Like once you've hit like 6 weeks of radiation, that's kills it off. That's like aggressive treatment.
Everything
Like
should be cooked after that sort of thing.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. So got through that, and then that was 2022 October. I finished that, and then been completely fine ever since. So I played Bristol National League, and then I've been at Swindon for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Everything clear, every scan, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And then come like January this year, we think we see something. And then in the like 3 month scan after that, they were like, yeah, it's got bigger. So let's get surgery going again. So that's been 5 tumors. This is now the sixth one and 5 surgeries. So
Uh,
it's now in my lung. So it's pretty much said, oh, we're going to go in keyhole, cut a piece of your lung out with the tumor, and that should be it. Because
okay, amazing.
it's not related to the first four or five. They're confident that they don't have to do any like radiation or anything. It's literally just cut it out and we're done.
Yeah, because I don't
So
imagine radiation therapy on your lungs is going to be very much fun.
yeah, exactly. But because it's like they've taken away a piece of my lung with it, so they've got the margin there. They think that's going to be it. And obviously, I'll have the scans every 3 to 6 months to
So
confirm that. But that should be it now, hopefully.
fingers crossed and touch wood and everything else. When you're obviously you're going from stage to stage to stage, and it's different stuff and it's different tumors. Is there any stage at all? Because I know you said with the first one you just felt normal. Did you feel ill? Did you feel sick? Did you feel different at all? Was there any other Because I've had a friend who sadly passed away from breast cancer, and until it was like a rock in her chest, she's like, I don't know. I just thought I had a little bit
Yeah,
of a lump. I didn't really think about it. I didn't feel ill. She didn't have anything. And then it was such a, like, as you were talking about, aggressive form of cancer. Hers in her breast was fucking horrific, and it was like boom, boom, done. Like it was so bad. Did you feel ill?
didn't feel a thing. No
Makes it
symptoms,
scary,
no
man.
no feeling. So like that's the thing. If I didn't have these scans, I would never have known that they were in me.
Yeah.
So obviously that's why they do the scans to find them. But if I'd never had those scans, I would never know they were in there. No symptoms, didn't feel ill, didn't feel them. I would have just gone on like normal. So that's obviously why you do the scans. But yeah.
Another one of the goalie fraternity. So as a junior in Basingstoke, I don't know if you remember Craig Agas. He was a goalie coach for Basingstoke, and then he did some stuff with Southwest. He's a couple of years younger than me, so he's quite a bit older than you. But one night in practice, Simon Beer stepped over the blue line into the hash marks and fucking hit him
Mhm.
right like in the
Yeah.
chest plate as a goalie, yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes down. And then, you fuck it, like you say, you just crack on, don't you? And then he gets
Yeah.
home, and his old man, he's still living at home at the time, and his old man can hear him, and he's like, he's
Yeah.
thinking, right, he's probably broke a couple of ribs here. Let's get him up A&E. And
Yeah.
it turned out same similar, mate. Yeah, fucking tumor on his lung, and if that slap shot never hits him in the chest,
Exactly.
he probably doesn't find it. It probably spreads, and we probably look at a way worse scenario than
Yeah.
if that
Exactly.
slap shot doesn't hit him.
Mhm.
Have you just found these doctors to just be absolute geniuses then?
Yeah. Pretty much. They know me well there, so they look after me. So yeah, I've had a few different ones, but they definitely know what they're doing, and I have full trust in them. That's why I'm so kind of chill about it because it's like, oh, I'm going to be okay, and
Yeah.
I've got that previous surgeries to like know that it's like, oh, I was fine last time, so I'm going to be okay again this time. So that's
What's
that's the good thing.
what's the recovery been like from from the different surgeries? Obviously, it's in different positions. Coccyx, I imagine you're struggling to sit down in certain
Yeah,
places, and then abdomen every time you fucking stand up or sit down or stretch or
yeah, it's just like just the pain where it's at. It's like you're getting punched or a big bruise. It's just where they're digging around inside you, that's the sucky bit, you know, and that just
Yeah,
recovering from that. But this surgery I just had, I was on a lot of medicine after, and that kind of knocked me out for the first 2 weeks. But after I felt a lot better, then obviously I'm back to normal. But the recovery is hard every time. Like I said, the surgery is the easy bit because you just go to sleep and they get on with it. But as soon as
yeah,
you're awake, that's when the pain really comes. Because obviously you feel completely fine before, and then you're kind of going into the surgery like, do I really have to do this? Because I feel completely fine. But obviously you do because you have to get these tumors out, right? But it's
yeah,
tough. Cause I think that's the hardest thing I found about it. It's like I feel fine, so it's like, why do I have to do this? But obviously, you know why, because it's like you got a tumor inside you and you need it out. But it just sucks because you know for the next 4 to 6 weeks you're going to feel like shit.
yeah.
But that's kind of where your mental toughness kind of kicks in, and that's where like your family and your friends support you, and that's been obviously amazing over the years, but especially this time. Seems like this time it's been like the biggest load of love and support ever. So I really
I,
appreciate that from everyone.
I remember it happening prior. I didn't realize it was as many times as this.
Mm,
Um, and people kind of talking about it, but this time it seemed everybody was talking about it, and
yeah,
like I know from when we posted about it, we shared like the fact that it was successful surgery. The amount of people
yeah,
that commented was mental, mate. Like everyone was sharing love, and I was equally I was looking at the one on the Wildcats page, and a lot of people there really showing outpouring of love. I think it probably helps because you have the mentality that you do have. You are a pretty chill dude, like, and you know, even your post to say about it was like the most chilled way to just say I just fucking
yeah,
had successful like tumor removal. It was just like, yeah, you know, like you've had a tooth out.
yeah, used to it. But
It's,
yeah, the
it's
support's been unreal. Like I've got about 100, 200 cards on my dinner table right now from
oh, amazing.
everyone. So everyone's showing the love and all the messages and stuff. I've tried to reply to them all. I think I have, but yeah, just from like everyone's coming out the woodwork, you know. But it's obviously lovely, and that's how great the hockey community is, right? When someone goes down in a bad way, everyone comes together. It doesn't matter who you play for, who you are. Everyone shows the love, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the outpouring of love for you has been amazing. You, do you know why you're so? Do they obviously you speak to a lot of smart people, speak to a lot of smart doctors. Do they know why you're so susceptible to it?
That's the thing. That's the big thing with cancer. You just don't know. There's no reason for it. No, like I've asked a
No.
hundred times, why is this happening to me? Can I stop doing something? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what have I done? And they're just like, there's nothing. It's just we don't know
Purely just
why.
down to genetics, you know?
It's not even
Something,
genetics. It's like my parents have never had this issue.
no,
Like
nothing.
their parents haven't had this issue. Like it's just me. That's
So fuck it, damn it.
the cards I've been dealt, unfortunately. So just got to get through it and get on with it.
Well, not to sound like a dick, but I'm glad your parents and your grandparents haven't had it, mate, because it
Yeah,
sounds like you've been in the wars.
yeah,
The different stages, obviously, you're with different teams. You're with the Devils and with the Pit Bulls at different levels, and then with the Cats. How do those conversations go when you go to a coach? I imagine the first time telling a coach, I imagine they probably panicked a little bit, did they?
yeah. But it's in terms of like a re-sign thing, that's never been an issue. But like in the terms of like, oh, I'm gonna have to stop. It's obviously sad, but I've had the full support from like even like Todd Kelman called me from the Devils the other
Nice.
day, and he's like almost breaking down on the phone for me, and it's like I was there for like 6 months, like 5, 6 years ago, and he's come out and said that. It's like it just shows how much people really do care, and it's like just stuff like that is crazy to me, but it means a lot. But like having to sit down with guys like Jamie Elson, Aaron, uh, it's obviously a hard conversation, but they fully supported me every time, and it's unfortunately that's more important than hockey. I don't want it to be, but but they've
Yeah.
always shown the utmost support and love, and it's shit, but they've supported me all the way.
And you got a good leadership going like more to towards this year's team. You got a good leadership group there. You know, you got Bully there. He's a great guy to have around,
Yeah.
and having people like that as veterans on the locker room for you to lean on if you need to lean on it. That's just a blessing.
Yeah, so another little story is like, so like a week or two ago, I was pretty like, in a bad way, obviously, just from the surgery, and the whole team came over to my house to surprise me. The whole team, every single
That's
guy.
awesome.
They didn't have to, you know, they wanted to come and see me, you know, and that just shows how great my team is. My guys, they don't let anyone hurt, you know. It's not like there's no cliques, there's no oh, I hate this guy, but he hates me. You know, it's like we're a team. Like, and this has probably been the closest, tightest it's been in a long time because I've obviously played for Swindon since 2017, 2018. So I've seen
Yeah,
people come and go, and then I've come and gone. You know, but this is there's some old boys on that team that have been there a long time, and they kind of set the culture. And it's I think we only had like 4 new players this year, so it's like we've been around a long time.
not
So
bad
it,
players though.
so
Just
yeah,
just adding Griff and fucking Oki, not bad.
Griff, Benny, and then the 2 imports there.
Two
They're okay.
imports, yeah. They're not some good lads. Well, I want to actually ask you about this year's team, as you have been there for so long, and Swindon. Not my words, but every other fan, and you would have seen it. Swindon have always won in the league on paper, but
Yeah,
it doesn't quite materialize. Now,
yeah.
this year, in terms of your squad, I believe once again, Swindon are one of them teams. Are they going to win it on paper, or does the addition of these 4 boys that you've added this year give you the real opportunity to be picking up the league trophy come April?
As much as I love the boys that have been here before, like Gale and Colby, the imports, and everyone else that's come and gone, I think this is probably the best team it's ever been.
Yeah,
Like, obviously, I'm very biased because I'm on the team, but
yeah,
this is the best chance we'll probably ever have. And even though it's been 2 weeks of the season, our record shows it. We haven't lost the game yet. And we only lost one preseason game because my goalie partner lost his head and had a fight.
yeah. We're going to
but
talk about that. We're going to talk about that as well.
yeah, but realistically, if that never happened, we haven't lost a game this season. You know, so we've got that killer instinct, that mentality that we probably didn't have before, and we've got boys on that team that won't stand for losses like we have done in the past, like going up to Solway and just shitting the bed. You know, I don't know,
Yeah,
a year before maybe that kind of okay, it's just Solway. We'll get the point somewhere else another day. Like no, this is our year, and especially like in the past 2 years, we've gone to Coventry twice and kind of shit the bed in the semi final. And I know that's not the league, but it's just having that mentality that we can do this and not.
it's a chance for silverware, right? We all want to win trophies, whether it be the league, whether it
Yeah,
be the playoffs, and especially once you get to that final four, you get to the big dance. You're there. It's
yeah,
like you're two games away. You're 2 performances away, and then
yeah,
not only to lose. I watched your semi final last year. You didn't perform like so that hurts more because you know what you've got in the locker. It just for
yeah,
whatever reason on that given day, it just didn't happen for you lads. Whereas, like I say, with these new additions, fucking Ben O'Connor signing the National League's fucking joke. Like
yeah.
I don't think the fans understand like how good he
Yeah, he's
is.
an okay player. He's decent.
It's all right. Yeah, just
He's all
won
right.
every award in every league that he's ever played in, including like the Kazakh league and
Yeah,
every double IHF tournament from Division fucking 2B to the
yeah.
to the top table with the big dogs. And also, he's a fucking beauty, and he's funny.
Oh yeah,
He's
he's
probably
chirping it. Yeah, he's
just
something.
yeah, just a good guy to have around the locker room. Great veteran experience for yourself. What what's the kind of turnaround when we're thinking we're going to have you back out on the ice? Maybe just facing some shots, and I'm sure you're
I'd love to be out there
dying to get.
tomorrow, but
Yes, I'm sure you're dying to get going. Like
it's 4 to 6. Well, it's week 3 now, so hopefully 6 weeks I can start skating. That's when the doctors say. So I've got to keep them happy. But I'll probably start stretching again, have a couple runs, maybe lift some weights a little bit
Yeah.
in the next coming weeks. But until 6 weeks, I probably won't start practicing fully. But I'm trying to get back maybe November, December.
Get back before Christmas, get a bit of a
Yeah,
run.
yeah,
So, my understanding, they brung Dino back to back up Marzi
yeah,
right now. Guy's
yeah.
like a fucking boomerang. I love him. Dino, I used to, well, funny enough, when I played in Swindon and when I played in Slough, Dino
Yeah.
used to be my car share buddy. Like, is he
Oh, yeah.
still like the most quiet guy in the locker room?
So
Just
I've never played with him. So I've never would have ever come across him. So I don't even know what he's like. So
oh, really?
whenever
That's interesting.
he's been around, I've not been, and then vice versa. So I've never actually. I've had I think I've had one conversation with him, and that was
Yeah.
like a summer skate before, but I've never actually met him properly. So I don't really know what he's like.
Super nice guy, the quietest guy you will ever meet.
Yeah,
Like,
probably
but
had
it's
some weird
quite
thing to
funny
say.
because like he would be super quiet in the room and stuff like that, dialed in. He would all be like stretching, staring at his fucking helmet, be on the floor, and he'd be doing like splits and just staring
Yeah,
at it. He'd be like, just fucking leave him alone. Just that's all. But then when you
yeah,
got him in the car on the drive down and that, he'd be super chatty and like. Obviously,
yeah.
I've known him since I was a kid. Just a good guy. And I also saw uh, young Nipper Leach. He got a game up as well. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So obviously Rennie got banned for being a naughty boy, and then obviously I didn't want to risk anything that last weekend. But he got to have a go. He had a game last year, in the playoffs. I think it was a game that we did. It didn't matter if we won or lost or something like that.
Yeah.
And oh no, it was the last game of the league actually. Yeah, and
Right.
Rennie was hurt or something, and the thing that was said to me is like, oh, if you get hurt as well in a game that kind of means nothing, then we're double screwed.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense. That's actually really smart. Yeah.
yeah, so give Ben a go. And he's been well. He's a very good goalie. He is just waiting for his time. Like unfortunately, me, Rennie, and Ben, we're younger goalies. Like Rennie's turning 28 this year. I'm 25 and Ben's just turned 18. So we're like on the lower end of the age. So it's whoever's playing well. It's a only one guy can play at a time. So everyone's
Good
pushing
problem
each
for
other up.
Aaron to have, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like last year, it was probably my best year. I didn't lose a game in regulation. I only lost one game
Nice.
the whole year in overtime. So that was very good for me personally. And then Rennie, obviously, we know what he can get up to. And then
Yeah.
Ben's just coming up through the juniors, and he's a very solid goalie. He's proven himself in NIHL one. So we've got a deep goaltending trio, and you can put any guy in on any night, and you got a chance. So it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. What's been in the blood with you fucking goalies this year then? So we had Marzi getting kicked out in pre-season. We've had Jordan Headley getting kicked out last weekend.
Yeah.
Goalies are fighting back. They've fucking had enough. Let's go. Oh, by the way, I'm here for it. Like
Yeah.
I'm totally here for it, obviously.
Okay. So I watched the stream, and it was oh no, I was there. Yeah, I was there because I had to go in, obviously. But yeah, I think Shawsey got tangled up with their goalie, and then their goalie started throwing, and that's the green light, to go past the red line and join in. So Marzi maybe punched him a couple too many times on the ground, but
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
probably yeah. And then I didn't see the heads one, but maybe all the goalies have had enough.
Yeah,
But this
I like it.
preseason has been very rough. There's been a few suspensions this preseason, and obviously going into the league now. But yes,
Yeah,
I'd say this year the league's probably as even as it's been ever.
yeah.
Anyone can beat anyone on their night. It just showed this year that whoever wins it deserves it.
Oh,
Whereas
100%. So,
it's like 2 years ago, Leeds ran away with the league in November, and it's like no one's catching them. It's like, oh, okay, what's the point then? And then last year was a little bit better, where it was us, MK, and Leeds. We kind of went down to it till like February, March. But then this year, I think anyone can really take it.
so me and Graham was doing a live stream the other night, producer Graham. And we got to like the kind of prediction part.
Yeah,
And fuck, I don't know how you do it. I couldn't make a decision because you go, well, Swindon could win it, MK could win it, Leeds could win it. Like you just start rattling off,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then I think that next bunch of teams as well that
yeah,
are going to be in the hunt. I didn't have Telford starting with 7 points out of 8. That's for sure. Like they've come out the
yeah,
blocks hot. I, I still think for me, it's probably going to look like Bristol, Solway, and Romford don't make the playoffs. That I
yeah,
think that would probably be an easier one to look at than who is going to win the league because the games between you versus MK, this the same with arguably Steel Dogs are going to be they're much improved this year. There's a
yeah,
lot of teams that are going to be in that mix. Leeds are going to be in the mix. Obviously, they started slow this year, 2 losses, but straight back to a 4 point weekend last weekend. And you know, with
yeah,
that Leeds team, they can just next time you look, they've lost a game. It'd be fucking middle of November. And you're like, oh, they lost two and then won
yeah,
10
exactly.
straight. So there's just so much of that. And obviously, you guys are kind of riding the crest of the wave at the moment with 4 victories. Who do you play this coming weekend?
Hull at home and then Peterborough away, I think.
So,
But like yeah, Hull, Peterborough, Sheffield, they're in that little second tier in the league, you know. And then you've got the other, like maybe bottom six, bottom
oh
five.
mate,
That
your ats are gonna get your mentions are getting blown up from that. You named the second tier of the teams. Like,
but I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying in like
Tyler says,
they
"Fuck
could
you
really,
all," and you're going to be in the
could
middle
really
of the
upset some
table.
people. They could really
Um,
upset some people.
I'm here for that as well, by the way. Like 4,000 count is the place to do that. But
Yeah,
no, no jokes aside, I totally agree with you. And like how on any given night, their first seven forwards are a joke. They got
yeah,
four imports, so then Chamberlain, Bonner, Owen
yeah.
Bruton, like
We've been
you know
turned over
it.
by a hole on a cold Sunday night before, and it's not been pretty. You know, they can really turn it on when they want to. I feel like they might have had a slow start this year, but they could turn it on if they wanted to.
Yeah, they're so good, man. They're so good. And Peterborough kind of been another surprise package. 3 out of 4 wins so far in the league. Again, Telford 3 wins and an OT loss. So those teams that are in that kind of chasing pack.
Yeah,
Well, no, we're talking hypothetically here because it's very early on. But
yeah,
I imagine come December and the league starts playing out the way I think it is, they are going to be the teams in the hunt. But that Thompson that plays for Telford, 12 points in 4 games, the guy's fucking lights up.
yeah, exactly. You know, so there's some special players in the league this year, and let's just see how it goes. You know, when we play them, we just got to shut them down and play our way. You know.
I think what will make a difference in this league as well this year, and I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. So you got Slava at Steel Dogs, bench coach.
Yeah,
Outside of I think outside of you guys, nobody else has a player coach. Basingstoke's a bench coach.
yeah,
Um, Matty's on the bench up in Hull. Aldy's on the bench in Leeds. Tatey's in the bench in Peterborough.
yeah.
Tommy's in Telford. Uh, JT and Spud up in Solway. Is Aaron the only player coach left in the league?
I think so. Laystrom, can you count him as a player coach?
Oh
He's not
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
playing anymore. They've got another guy in this year, but I
He's
still
still
think
gonna
he's
have a
running the
hand
show.
in.
And the same, it's the kind of the same with Bristol. They got Padalecki now as the coach,
He's not playing though, right?
no, but Mackenzie was player coach last year. Is he still
Yeah.
pulling strings a little bit? You know?
Well, I just think it's a good thing for the league. Obviously, having that extra coach and having that extra set of eyes. Who do you boys have on the bench? Is it still Richie?
Yeah. So we just have
So that's
Richie.
as good as having a fucking head coach anyway.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He does what's needed. I think he runs the DA, he runs the forwards, he does a bit of everything. You know, he it's like extra eyes for Aaron. You know, when he's playing, and just
Yeah.
uh, that guy you can kind of lean on for suggestions and stuff. You know.
So I don't think fans really appreciate what tough job being a player coach is. When you see it from the inside of the locker room, the shit those boys got to do, they're making
Yeah,
sure, like, it's not just, especially in Aaron's scenario, where it's his dad's club, and it goes a lot deeper than just being if he was to go be player coach of like Coventry or something, where there's no connections.
Yeah.
You're making sure like the fucking sponsors are happy, and you're making sure the red
Uh,
carpet's outside the changing room for the 50-50, and you try to do
yeah.
this, and this guy's stick's broken, and this guy's fucking skate blade just broke, and oh, the
Mm.
import's visa's been delayed, and all this other stuff that's going on. And then, by the way, you've got to play and you've got to score 40 goals because you're Aaron now. And then you're going to get pressure coming from the fans because you haven't won a trophy. And like Aaron's got a tough gig in Swindon.
Oh yeah, definitely. The expectations are probably as high as they've ever been with the team we got
Yeah,
this
I'd
year
agree.
and how it's been the past couple of years, where we've been so close yet so far, kind of thing. You know.
What's the crowd's been like? 'Cause I know towards mid to well, pretty much all last year, but definitely like Christmas onwards, they were posting their numbers online and they were just filling that barn, filling the links out all the time.
Swindon is the place to be on a Saturday night. You know, it's not quiet in there, maybe as it used to be like 10 years ago, and it's selling out pretty much every week. You know, it's a great
It's
place to
good.
play. You know, so I wouldn't want to play anywhere else. You know, it's where I'm born and raised. You know, you grow up wanting to be a Wildcat in Swindon, so like it's probably the best club in my opinion. I wouldn't want to be
There's a
anywhere
couple of
else.
guys like yourself as well, isn't there, that have went through the juniors that now in that senior setup. So how important do you think that is for the youngsters that are in the Swindon program now? You know, you might be an under 12 goalie, you might be an under 14 player or something. You're looking up to Reed, you're looking up to yourself, you're looking up to the well, Aaron went through the system. There's enough guys that have kind of obviously you bring in imports, so you bring in Pluzy and you bring in Bully. I mean, Bully's like a fucking honorary Swindon. He's been there for like 40 years.
Local lad, Cam
Uh,
Bullish,
yeah, he's a local.
local from
But how
Nottingham.
important is it for the kids that are coming through to see you guys? Obviously, you talked about wanting to be a Wildcat. No doubt in my mind, those kids right now, their
Yeah.
aspiration, their dream will be to play for the Wildcats and then go on and play for GB or whatever it may be.
I think it's huge. You can really tell the teams that don't have a good junior system compared to the ones that do. It really does help, especially with injuries. Like that's like the first thing that comes to your head because then you can chuck a junior in there that has earned the opportunity and just get some valuable minutes. Like our whole NIHL one team is stacked with eligible juniors that are capable of playing at this level, but there's just not a spot for them, you know? And that
Yeah,
improves the competition because at the end of the day, if you're not performing, there's a guy waiting, there's 10 guys waiting to take your job. And it's not a personal thing, it's just business, you know? And
yeah,
that's the same with like me, Rennie, and Ben. Like if I'm not performing, Ben's just gonna take my job. If Rennie's not performing, I'm next in line, you know.
yeah.
And that's what a great junior system creates. That internal competition that everyone needs, right? But you can look at teams like Sheffield when obviously like Kirky, who's my age, coming through. Obviously he's doing better than anyone.
Pretty
and
good.
then and then you got guys like Alex Graham, who obviously has passed away, unfortunately, but he was a product of that Sheffield system. Um, he was with Bradford for a bit, but he's another big one. But you can look at that Sheffield team, and they wouldn't be anything without those juniors, you
Yeah.
know. So to have a great junior system just improves from top to bottom every team, every league, you know.
You look at Sheffield, like, Ben Morgan went through it, Kirky's brother went through it, Ben
Yeah,
Bounds went
exactly.
through it. Just so many boys, even guys that are still in the roster now. Like Rip has gone back there, he's been through there. So many guys, and Peterborough low key churn them out as well, like
Yeah,
Barron, Hunt, amongst the others. Like,
yeah.
so as you say, if you don't have those juniors coming through, you're gonna struggle. I want to talk to you a little bit about your off ice kind of fun and games. I know you're into your music. Talk us through that.
So I've always kind of been into music. Like you obviously know when you're warming up on the ice, you've got the tunes blaring and all that kind of stuff. So I've always been into music. My dad was a musician, but
Okay, that makes sense.
so him growing up, he was a hockey player and a musician, but obviously wasn't a very good hockey player, so became a musician. You know,
Fair point.
so obviously that's where the hockey bit comes from, because he used to play, but obviously he was a musician professionally. So I've always had music in there, in and around. I've always been interested, but like the past couple of years, I've like I want to have a go at this, you know. So just downloaded all the stuff I needed. I've got the setup here now in my new house, and just been having a go. You know, it's not a full time thing. It's like just a bit on the side, and I just want to give it a go. You know, and just see where it takes me. It's like another
So,
thing that is a physical thing. Like hockey is a physical sport, so it's like a kind of like a brain thing. You know, just to get the distractions away. You know, and
because
just
you're
have a bit of
focused
fun.
right on exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Are you producing beats? What sort of stuff are you doing?
So house music, just stuff you'd hear it's like really inspired by guys like Swedish House Mafia, like guys like John Summit, Calvin Harris, like all the kind of dance pop stuff, you know. That's kind of what
Yeah.
I'm into the most. But to be honest, I could do anything I wanted, you know. Like I'm not set on one thing. I just having fun with it, you know. And if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If not, I'm having fun
You're
doing
still
it.
yeah, you're still having fun like playing. Well, as someone who frequents Ibiza about twice a year for the last 20 years,
So there you
every
go.
name that every name that you just mentioned there, you know, they all popped off, they all went massive, they all played the
Yep.
biggest gigs in the world in front of the largest crowds for the biggest
Yep.
fucking ticket. Like it's if there's another industry that I would have maybe wish I'd have got into, you're too late once you're fucking 38. But and that's a lie, I'm 39. But like growing up, well, as you say, everything's hockey. Like for you, fucking hockey was more important than your cancer treatment.
Yeah, yeah,
Get, and that was it. Like I was so dialed in. But then the older you get, and you go and you watch these DJs perform, and these producers do their thing, and you're like,
yeah,
okay, that's fucking cool. They was in
yeah,
Vegas last
exactly.
night, then they're in Ibiza today, then they're
Yeah,
in Sydney next week, and then they're in New York. And I'm like, these guys are just balling out of control. PJs everywhere. Like, if there's
yeah,
another industry that you can have a good crack at and have a really nice life on the back of, it is
yeah.
definitely the music
The
one.
uh, the DJ lifestyle is pretty enticing. So that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons I started having a go, you know. So
Hey,
obviously
why not?
hockey isn't a forever thing, you know. But then you got guys like Tiesto, who's like 50 years old, Calvin Harris, who's getting up there in the age. Like you got some older DJs up there that are still flying to Ibiza every week, Vegas, doing it all, you know. So obviously,
Tiesto's one of my favorites.
yeah. So I'd love to be a full time DJ. That would be great, you know. I don't want to be stuck in a 9 to 5 forever. So that's another thing that if I really knuckle down on it, which I have been in the past year, like I had my first official release like a month ago
Awesome.
with a proper label, you know. So
So
getting
if you
paid for
send that
making
to us, we'll put it out on the page for sure. Let's
hell yeah,
get it spread out with everybody. That would be cool.
yeah. But
What
yeah, it's just like a side thing at the moment. So it's like obviously you got work, hockey, DJing. That's kind of my life.
what about like DJing in clubs and stuff like that? Have you done any of that, or
So
do
none
you
of
want to
that
try
at
and
the
get like a
moment.
bit of experience? Or
So funny you should say that. I've DJed live like warm ups for hockey games that I haven't played in.
right,
so
okay, yeah,
so
just dropping
literally
fucking bangers for warm up.
yeah. So when I had finished my treatment from the radiation treatment, I obviously couldn't play for a week or two. So I brought my decks down to Bristol, plugged it into the speakers in the whole rink, and DJed the warm up live. So you could say my first ever show was in front of like 2,000 people, which most people can't say. They weren't there for me, but they was surely listening to the music. But all the warm up tunes in Swindon and Bristol are done by me, recorded live. So
Oh, wicked, that's cool.
yeah, so I'll have the decks, I'll load up all the songs, and I'll record it onto my phone with these special programs and stuff, and you literally just plug in and you can play it out live.
That's
So
really cool.
all the warm ups are like properly mixed instead of it's just one song ends, another one plays. It's all properly mixed together.
Yeah, that's good. And it's not the same fucking recycled four songs that's been at every
Yeah,
hockey warm up since 1997. Like,
yeah,
I love house music, so if you were just dropping bangers for warm up, I always
oh
used to
yeah,
get off the ice with like 6, 7 minutes left of warm up, go and have a
yeah,
massage, go do that. But The ones that I would find maybe I was staying on a little bit later is if like a banging tune just came on just as you're about to get off. I
Yeah.
was like, nah, do another couple of hot laps. So maybe if you were DJing when I was in Swindon, I might have done like some 18 or 19-minute warm-ups and like had to rush all my pre-game stuff when I got off the ice.
But yeah, the boys love the tunes. They like obviously I'm not playing as much as I'd like to. Rennie's getting most of the game, so that's my way to contribute.
Yeah,
Make
you
sure
got
the
to be the
tunes
glue
are
guy, eh?
bumping. Yeah, make sure the tunes are bumping for the boys and they're feeling good before the game. So
That's
just
good.
little things like that. Like it just makes you feel valued.
Oh,
That the boys.
100%. Stuff like that, again, like stuff fans might not see. All that shit is so much a part of the team. It's so much a part
Oh
of the
yeah,
team
for sure.
spirit and getting the boys juiced up and fired up, ready to go.
Yeah,
It is a big thing. How do you think fucking Paul Bissonnette made a career in the NHL? Like the guy
yeah,
was a good hockey player, but to make a career in the NHL, you took when you hear Jans talk and you hear Wick talk and you hear all the boys that have come on Chicklets over the years. He's he's like a healthy scratch, and then fucking shower him with the boys after and shit. Like it's just like having these guys around the locker room for whatever reason it may be. Obviously, they've got hockey talent as well, but like all these other intangibles
yeah,
make a team, and it sounds like Swindon are going to be an absolute juggernaut this year, and the only teams that can I see could stop the only thing that can stop Swindon, in my opinion, is Swindon.
yeah. Ourselves, yeah, exactly. Like we've got that mentality now. I think that it's like, oh, it's not like a sole way on a Sunday, and it's like, oh, we can just take our foot off the gas. It's like, no, we're doing this now. This is for real now. We're sick of the, oh, it was so close, or oh, if we did this or did that. No, it's like we're doing it now. Let's stop messing about.
A question I haven't had a goalie on for a long time actually, but one of the questions that I always like to ask the goalie: are you a shiny kit junkie? Are you like got to have like the most new gear, new paint job? Are you all dialed
So
in on that?
I'm very up to date with everything going on. So my full-time job, I actually work at Warrior in the
Okay,
UK.
perfect.
So work with Neil and Ollie Stone and Pauline. So
Yeah,
the family-run business.
great
You
guys.
might know. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I had Ollie in my conference under 17 team.
There you go. So
Moved
your
up
brother
age a
coached
little bit.
my conference team back in the day. So yeah, everyone knows everyone. So that's my full-time thing. So I get treated very nicely there with all the nice new stuff. But obviously Swindon pay for most of it as well. But I never got custom gear growing up, but it was kind of just what my parents could afford. Like, but
Yeah,
now obviously they're not paying for it, and the club's paying for it. I
let's
can,
go. Yeah,
yeah. So when I see goalies getting custom pads and they're all white, I'm like, come on, you can get whatever colors you want, and you're just
yeah. I
going
think
for
let's have
white.
a bit
Like,
of thinking here.
yeah. So I got ever since I could get custom, I got all red or like gone all out in the colors and stuff. So I do like
Love
flashy
that.
stuff. I'm up to date with what looks good and what looks bad.
Who's got the best goalie setup in the league?
Me, obviously.
Oh, he's gonna go straight for
I'm
himself.
yeah, company guy. Warrior, my warrior pads are great.
Yeah, I love it.
I do like when Bauer comes out with their digital printed stuff, like what
Okay,
Boundy's
yeah.
had is with
Is
the
that what he
whatever
had when he
he.
was in Graz?
Yeah, so he had those in Graz, but like this year with Cardiff, he's got the Dragon Claws and he's had like the Devil Tails and loads of
That's
different
cool.
stuff that digitally printed and stuff. And he obviously had some pretty cool GB stuff, but um, yeah, I really like those kind of stuff. But again, solid color choices are what's good for me.
What about in the NHL? Is there any goalies who's rocking the best style in the NHL?
Aaron Dell, I don't know where I don't think he plays anymore, but he was a San Jose goalie for a while, and he had Brian's pads, and he had some pretty cool San Jose Shark stuff through the years. That was like so you could have digitally printed stuff, but Brian's did it all by hand with
Stitched.
yeah stitch patches and stuff, and made some pretty cool designs. Um, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of like the brown pads, like the retro looking pads. They're
Well,
not my
like Tim
favorite.
Thomas wore for outdoor game
Yeah,
for Boston. He looked
yeah,
like a fucking
like
roller
yeah,
hockey. He looked like a roller hockey dad that had just pulled in out the
yeah,
parking lot with his old school pads and then
yeah.
stood on his head.
So modern pads that look old, not a big fan of. But yeah, anything with color really, just I like.
What would you say with the argument sometimes that these goalie pads are getting too big? You're like more the merrier.
I didn't think they were getting any bigger. They're the same width, 11 inches every time. But again, if
It's
you
the
got a bigger
height.
guy, if
So
you got
all
a big
these like
goalie, like
little plus one and a half. Just
yeah,
you lot look fucking massive in the nets. Like you do look so big in it, especially these goalies now that in the show. They're fucking 6'4", 6'5", and you're like,
yeah,
literally there is nowhere to shoot at unless you are an elite
yeah,
AHL sniper. Like if those guys come down and played in the fucking National League, the games would be 0-0 every week.
yeah.
It's like no one would
Yeah,
score a goal.
Vasilevsky, 6 hasn't come down. Yeah, yeah, it's a joke, especially how athletic they are as well. It's like Vasilevsky for Tampa Bay, is 6'7", and he can move like he's like nothing. Like he looks like that's why they call him the big cat, right? You know, because he moves like a cat.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point: be as big as possible, right?
Well, I'm a Tampa fan, and I ever since I played in Florida way back in the IMG days, like 20 odd years ago, I've been a Tampa fan, and we were lucky enough when I was there and was going to the games live. We had the Bulin Wall. We had Nikolai Javi Bulin, who was an absolute stud,
Mhm.
and I never thought I would have a more favorite Tampa Bay goalie. And then we signed this Russian kid, Vasilevsky, and he's
Yeah,
just been a savage. Like
yeah,
that guy when we had the three cup finals run, two wins, not a big deal. Three cup finals, he was phenomenal. As you say,
yeah,
like 6'7", moves like 5'7". He moves like he's got half
yeah,
the body weight that he has. He's just it lights out, mate.
yeah. I've always been a Carey Price fan growing up. Just how smooth he is,
Good choice.
how consistent he was. Unfortunately, his career didn't end how he probably wanted, but uh, yeah, always watching Carey Price like growing up. That was who I wanted to be like, and how I kind of emulate my game over just being a smooth, solid, big skater. You know,
You grew
nothing
up in a
too
good era.
fancy.
And I was lucky enough to grow up in an era of good goalies. It was like Dominic Hasek, Martin Brodeur, Patrick Roy. And now
Yeah,
you growing up in the era of like Vasilevsky, the Flower,
yeah,
like
Carey
Kerry
Price.
Price,
Yeah,
Luongo, like
Matt
just some
Murray, stuff like
absolute
that.
studs as well. Is there a harder job in sports than being an NHL goalie?
I see that debate all the time on social media. It's like, what's the hardest job in sports? And I will say it's the ice hockey goalie because
Goalie.
you got to know everything the players know and what you've got to do.
Yeah.
So if you don't know your own player systems, then you're screwed. So and then you've got
We
to do your job on top.
when I was a kid, like, come fucking March and the season's dialing in, twice or three times a month I'd swap with the goalie and I'd go and goal and the goalie would go out. It's the
Yeah,
fucking hardest thing ever, by the way. And you're talking like that at that point I'd be playing like 14s, 16s, 19s. So I'd be on the ice like 9 hours a week. I was the fittest I've ever been in my life. And let's say as it went up to the under 16s, I'd be skating 16s, 19s, bicep again. So I'm on the ice about 10 hours a week. 4 minutes of the goalie kit, and you're like, fucking hell, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like, it is so hard. Obviously, you don't make it look easy because you know where to stand, you know how to stand, you know where you. As a player, just jumping in, like, I can't explain it. There isn't
yeah.
anything harder I've ever done on
But
the ice.
I think yeah. Well, growing up, you obviously the physical stuff you get used to, how to move, how to stretch and stuff. But when it comes down to it, and you're playing professional, semi-professional, it's the mental stuff that gets you. It's like there's nowhere to hide as a goalie. The spotlight's on you. If you make a mistake, the other team scores a goal, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure being a goalie. That's the toughest bit. Some you can win and lose games for your team, and if you don't have a good goalie, then what's the point? You know, that's why a lot of these teams this year have probably gone with input goalies to give them a better chance of winning, you know. But
Well, I'm glad you brought that
obviously
up because I
can't come
forgot.
down.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
like
fucking grilling you on that, lad. Sorry, mate. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. Let's go with that. I'm glad you remembered because All the British goalies would be like, as if you had a British goalie on and you didn't ask about the fucking imports, dickhead.
Yeah.
Right, so we do have import goalies. They kind of got brought in last year. I personally, you know what? Like I believe if the Brits are good enough, that they'll get their opportunity. They'll still play. It's not like they've gone 11 imports. But for a guy like yourself, who's well, to you, whether you if you're in that number two role where you're chasing, whether you're chasing Rennie Mara or an import, it doesn't really matter. But I think the argument people would have is maybe if those other imports aren't there, a guy like yourself who is in that kind of number two that can play, or that one B kind of role, maybe
Mhm.
some of the one Bs would get the jobs that the import goalies are taking. So where do you kind of sit on this on the import goalie thing?
There's obviously two sides to it. Looking at it holistically as a whole business kind of thing, it's like teams can do what they want, right? If there's someone better than me or anyone else, the guy next to them, go for it. You know, if you have the opportunity to get the best goalie you can, import or Brit, go for it. You know, that's the game, that's the business. We're in to win it. If that's what you want to do, great. In terms of being like a British goalie, yeah, it sucks. But again, you have to look at it like, well, they're better for a reason. Is it because they're an import? Maybe yes, maybe no. But again, I'd love to play it as a starting role. Like when me and Will Curlin were at Bristol, we were kind of fighting for it together. It didn't work out for either of us. We both left, and then they get an import goal in, and they
Then
feel
it
like their
work out.
problem's solved. But it's obviously last year showed that an import goalie can't get you into the playoffs, can't get you wins. So it's a team issue, you know, or a management issue. Import goalies don't fix your team because I think what two out of three of the bottom teams that didn't make it had import goalies.
Missed out last year, yeah.
Yeah. So again, if you look at it like that, an import goalie isn't the be all or end all of your problems.
Do you
But
think do you think it's interesting that what you just brought up there, two out of the three were bottom teams, and once again the teams that have gone this year, Basingstoke I think will do enough to be in the playoffs, but they're still going to be in the bottom half of the table for me. Romford I think they're going to struggle, but they're one of the other teams that have got an import netminder. Peterborough also, and Peterborough are going to be arguably in that kind of Basingstoke pack
yeah,
as the league progresses on. You think think it's interesting that it's the kind of bottom teams or lower budget teams that tend to have gone with an import, maybe to make up for a lack of depth in other areas. Like their third line might not be as good as Swindon's. Their fourth line might not be as good as well. No one's fourth line as good as MK's because they just sign four first lines every year. And it's like, yeah, we'll
yeah,
just take first line guys from everywhere and put them on the fourth line.
yeah.
It's outside of that. Do you think that's probably why they go down the import route?
I think it's a lack of goalie knowledge in the UK, in the people that who are hiring these guys, and it's not like I should be hired instead. It's more like just because you have an import goalie doesn't mean you're going to win. Just because they're an import
Yeah.
doesn't mean they're good. Just because they're not from the UK doesn't mean they're good. I'm sure there's a lot of imports that have come through players and goalies that have shit the bed, and we've seen that over the years. Like just because you're an
Yeah.
import doesn't mean you're automatically good. It's hiring the right people for the right job. If you've got a team of six defensemen who are all shit, doesn't matter who's in goal, Kerry
Yeah, it
Price,
doesn't matter. Yeah.
it's not going to be pretty, right? You know, there's
Because
five guys trying to.
it's the rebounds and second and third
Yeah,
opportunities. And if you're
that,
shit defensively, it's so easy to make a backdoor 2-on-1 pass and you fucking just shoot it into an empty net. It doesn't matter what goalie you are. You ain't saving a
yeah,
two on
exactly.
one. Every now and again, you might get a Hollywood and you might
Yeah,
roll and catch a bit of stick on it. But the expectancy in that scenario is for the forward to score every fucking time. Like, and if
yeah,
the forward doesn't score in that scenario, he's messed up. The goalie's made an exceptional save. But
yeah,
when it comes to like you say, like shots against and an import goalie's not going to guarantee it. And if you put six shitty D men in front of him,
yeah. It
these
doesn't matter.
opportunities completely change. The job you boys have to do completely changes.
And that's kind of why with our team, yeah, maybe 1A, 1B. I'd love to play more, obviously, but Rennie's obviously the starter. You can rely on him and you can use those 4 import spots as on players. You don't have to get an import. Like Aaron could easily just go out and get an import, but what does that do for anything? It doesn't mean anything. You've got goalies that can play, and British goalies where I feel like teams in this league could maybe look past the, oh, he's an import, he must be good, and build the team around the goalie. Maybe the goalie isn't as strong as an import goalie, but I think people are looking at it like a blanket thing, like import must be good. And that in turn hurts the GB system, which is what I feel like is the goal for every British goalie. You want to be in Bounsy's position, you want to be in Jackson Whistle's position. Like club stuff is important, but I've always wanted to play for my country. I've always wanted to be a part of GB. I was lucky enough to get that opportunity once. You know, I won a silver medal, and that was probably the highlight of my whole career because it meant more than just a club and a paycheck. It was the whole country, right? So
Yeah.
without Bouncy and Jackson, you've got Lucas Bryan next, but then who's next after that?
You
You know?
I was going to kind of finish the show with the GB stuff, but we've come naturally to it anyway. So, and you've also answered about 3 of my questions without even asking them. I was going to say, obviously, what an honour it would be to play for GB. I've done it. Lucky enough, like yourself, to win a medal. Undoubtedly, yeah, highlighted my career as well. Even though it's gone over 20 years ago now, it's that thing you remember. It's you
Yeah.
never forget the win. The like we were lucky enough to win, so like the winning moment, and then the celebration with the boys, and then no flights out of Lithuania the day after. So it was fucking 2 day heater in Lithuania where it was like 60p a pint, and although we shouldn't be doing it on GB under 18 trips, like 60p for a packet of Marlboro Lights, and like back then, like Lithuania was so cheap, we won. But again, memories that last a lifetime. Reason we win that tournament again, we had good goaltending. Like you have to have good goalies, and GB have. I don't know how to say this because we produced Bouncy, who's arguably our best ever goalie. So
Yeah.
something somewhere along the line with Bouncy's trajectory, well, he was so exceptional. I remember him breaking into the EPL, 15, 16 years old. Kid was lights out. He was already a
Yeah.
stud, already playing like 40 games in the fucking EPL. Like,
Yeah.
and then Hull take the opportunity. They take a gamble.
Yeah.
What is it gonna take for? Because Bouncy ain't getting any younger, so he's gonna be done soon. So you imagine then Jackson goes into that number 1 role, Lucas goes into that number 2 role. The number 3 role is fucking up for grabs, ladies and gents. And
Yeah.
where does that number 3 goalie come from? In
Yeah.
my opinion, it's never going to come from a goalie that sits on the bench for 50 out of 54 Elite League games and
Yeah.
8 out of 10 Challenge Cup games and plays 6 games. That's not going to be your third string national team goalie. I
Yeah.
think it needs to be. I don't know. Maybe Pete doesn't want to look down the national route. Maybe he does want to look down the national route. But like a guy that can carry the workloads. Sam Gospel for the last 3 or 4 seasons has been outstanding. You talked about teams that build around their goalie and build around a British goalie. Well, Leeds Knight's a prime example. They're just building around Sam Gospel. I mean, I imagine they just lock him up until they can't lock him up anymore. But
Yeah.
it must be the easiest decision for Aldi outside of Kieran Brown to go, yeah, I want you to come back. Like you just go into what do you want? Like, what do you want? Yeah, here's a fucking sign it. Like, let's
Yeah.
go. Is he the next guy up, or am I wrong? Maybe there is a backup Brit in the Elite League that takes your fancy that might get into that role there.
So I know quite a bit. I've spoke to quite a few people about it. Obviously, I can't air as much as I'd love to on record. I'd love to tell you off air,
Yeah,
but
great.
I know Gospel isn't in the mix for a
He's not
few reasons. Headley
interesting.
obviously got pushed out for a couple reasons. I'm not going to tell you why, but like people are being overlooked because they're in the national. And obviously import goalies are taking away from British people getting experience. So there's four less opportunities now in the league for a British goalie to play and improve, and in turn get better for that GB program. Obviously, you've got Jackson as a starter, Bouncy as a starter. Lucas is not a starter in Glasgow. I don't know how many games he gets to play, but it won't be as much as an import who's obviously
Right.
playing as the starter in Glasgow. But then again, who's next? Like, you're looking at people like Rennie Marr, never got a sniff.
Yeah,
Gospel, never got a sniff. Heads, third goalie, but again, been pushed out for whatever reason, not going to get a sniff again. Like, why are these goalies getting pushed out just because they're not in the elite league? Is that the standard? Obviously, the elite league's better than national league, but
100%. Yeah.
if the elite league are going down the route of two input goalies, then you're fucking yourself, right? Like, you can't help it
And
what
all
clubs are going to
all the
do.
British goalies will be playing outside of Bouncy and
Yeah,
West. All the British goalies will be playing in the National League if the because so
yeah,
many of the elite league teams are now two standard two import goalies.
yeah, and that's
Guildford have three.
yeah, exactly. And you've got teams that rotate their two input goalies with a British backup that will never play. So what's the point? And you can't dictate to the clubs who they can and can't sign and who they can and can't play. But then you've created your own issue. Like, none of these goalies are going to get experience. None of these goalies are then going to be at that level ready to play because obviously GB are now in the top flight again. So when that Jackson or Bouncy are done, you've got guys like Lucas who plays maybe 10 games in the elite league. Is
10,
he a
15
bona
games a
fide?
year.
Yeah, is he a bona fide starter? No. Then you've got national guys that are starting every week, but that's not a good enough level to play against teams like Canada and USA. So you've created your own problem. But hey, I'd love to be involved, but again, I need my own opportunity to get to the next level, and that I feel is behind Rennie. I feel
Yeah,
like if I went onto a team with, like, I'll just tell you my process this summer. I spoke to Bristol, I spoke to Basingstoke. They're my two obviously local teams,
yeah.
and they just said, "Look, we're getting imports." So again, I'm just straight out of that. Like, you're paying them however much money, you're not going to pay them to sit on the bench, even if I'm playing better. That's when obviously the business and the politics of it comes in. It's not fair, but it's life. Life isn't fair. It's just how it is. So I feel like I have my best opportunity to play behind Rennie. Imports don't give you that opportunity, unfortunately, because they're a big paid asset that will
They're
play instead of.
expected to log 50 out of the 54.
Yeah, exactly. And there's
Unless they're
no.
hurt, they tweak a groin here or there, but they're expected to maybe even 54.
Yeah, so that fucks all the British goalies from my perspective in terms of like a backup, then the National League starters like Rennie, Heads, and Gospel, and then obviously the Elite League is its own issue. But if Pete Russell wants to find another random Brit that's got is Canadian, has got a British passport, then hey, you never know who's out there hiding, with a British
Well,
passport to just come
I was
out of
about
nowhere.
was about to bring that up. So the talk across the Elite League kind of websites this year is about Robson, the kid that's in Coventry. He's now by the end of this year or by part of the way through this year, he's going to be eligible to play for GB.
Yeah,
Do we run into the scenario where it was like when I was growing up, you kind of had like Joe Watkins and a dual nat. You had Lily, you had Gumsy, and you had a dual nat. Like there was like British goalies in and amongst the system, but there was always like a dual nat there or two dual nats there.
yeah.
Do we think if the Brits aren't going to get looked at and they're not going to get these opportunities, ultimately it's going to come down to guys like Robson, and I don't know if it will be him. I'm just using him as an example as his name's been talked about this week. Do you think that's how it will end up playing out?
The way it will go is the Elite League will become a full double import league, two import goalies on every team once Bouncy finishes, and then the National League and the Elite League will have such a gap in between ability because the Elite League's just getting better and better every year. Our league's getting better and better, but the gap is getting bigger in terms of ability. then you have to look at guys like that. Like Ben Churchfield came from America.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of him until a couple of years ago. He's a couple of years older than me, but he obviously from the UK, and he got a sniff at the Steelers. Wasn't good enough. Got sent down after a month, and then just quit hockey. It's
Is that
like,
what happened to him? He just was gone.
yeah, he signed with the Steelers full time as a backup. Wasn't cutting it. Don't know what happened. He was getting the sniff for GB as the number three. That's when Headley stopped as the third, and then got sent down. Played 2 games for Leeds, and then appeared. Went back to the US, and then I think he stopped playing now. But
Oh wow.
it's just stuff like that. It's like he was probably capable. Obviously wanted to do it, But then that's when you got to start looking at these fake Brits that come out of nowhere, and that's how it's going to be. And obviously, yeah, it sucks, but that's the world we live in.
As like the elite leagues a business, you kind of feel like your national team shouldn't be a business. But when you
Mhm.
get to that top table and you have that experience, ultimately it becomes a business. You have big sponsors involved. You're playing against Canada, you're playing against Finland, Sweden, Germany. You're playing against all the top dogs,
Yeah,
and with that will come some royalties and some good stuff.
yeah,
What we need to do is just make sure that we're continuing to focus on not getting our pants pulled down in 10, 12 years. Like, what are we doing with the 13, 14, 15, 16 year olds now
yeah,
who, because let's face it, goalies don't really get going until they're about your age now. Like, most of the guys start really mid 20s,
yeah,
really start
yeah.
fucking figuring out what it takes to be a goalie.
Yeah, maturing as a goalie comes away later than a player. You've got to get that experience. This is probably the best I've ever been in my whole life, and I'm 25 now. So I think people have to realize it takes longer to mature as a goalie. So if you're getting a 21-year-old goalie in and he's not settling in, it's like they just fob him off, and it's like, well, he needs that experience to learn. But again, it's a business. If you don't perform, then you're out. But then these goalies that are 13, 14, 15 years old now are coming into a world with import goalies in the National League, and then decent young goalies. Like Rennie's young enough to stay until he's 35 if he wanted to. So that's
Easy,
another
yeah.
10 years maybe. So that where's that opportunity? And then you've got guys like me who are just a bit younger that I could stay as the number two for Swindon for as long as I wanted.
Yeah,
Like what's to stop me playing unless I want to stop playing?
yeah, makes sense.
And then if something were to happen to one of those British goalies, what's stopping a team just getting an import? Why would you look at a 18, 19, 20-year-old young goalie that's, yeah, he might be lighting up juniors, but you're coming into a world where imports are considered more valuable. And
Yeah.
then you screwed yourself in 10 years for GB for a goalie that can compete unless they're a dual national and had that experience overseas. Like, yeah, it sucks, but it's just the world we live in. I'd love to be a GB third or a GB anything. But
Just in and around the squad, like training, whatever it is. Like,
yeah, and Brownie is the first guy to break through that with being selected last year,
yeah.
from the national. Like he could easily play in the elite league. Like he had his stints, but obviously there's reasons why he's not. Um, But hey, if that breaks through in a couple of years for a goalie to be a third, it's a start. But I see a world where imports are taken over, and then your British opportunities are losing out for development.
I got one more question for you before I let you go, because obviously, as a player, I look at the GB squad and, even still now, like, I don't know if look up to is the right word in my scenario because I'm not playing anymore, but look out for, watch, appreciate, respect. Like, it was Jonah Phillips, it's
Yeah.
Robert Dowd. How do you view like the same sort of scenario as an active goalie with probably one of the best British goalie tandems we've ever had in Ben Bounds and Jackson Whistle?
Yeah. So I've had, well, I played for Cardiff, right, in 2019, 2020. So I was with Ben every day. So I know what his, it's not mentality, like his work ethic and his approach to the game is like, and it's ultra professional and he wants to be the best. And same with like Murdy was the backup. He, quiet guy, but he's got that mentality. And then I've never met Jackson Whistle, but he's right up
He's a nice
there.
guy.
Yeah, nice guy. But playing with a lot of the Cardiff boys like Dougie, Ben Davis, they great guys, but they're ultra professional and want to play for their country at the end of the day. So obviously the professionalism and what it takes is way more increased in the elite league than it is in our league. But obviously our league is semi-professional. But you can see,
Guys have got a 9 to 5 to go. Got to be on a
yeah,
fucking building site on Monday morning,
yeah,
loading bricks on their shoulder and shit.
yeah.
Like,
But yeah, being with Bouncy is a great role model for anyone, and he over the years has allowed a lot of access to him running camps and being here, being there, just giving back to the goalies of the UK, and that's obviously a great thing for anyone. And when I was there, I was 19, and what more can you ask for to be on the ice with a guy like Ben Bounds every day? Like, what an opportunity.
yeah, unreal.
Right. Like, yeah.
Um, I said that was the last question, but I got one more. We kind of touched on it, but I talked about me pretty much being a massive fence sitter on where the league title is going to go this year. What is a successful season for the Swindon Wildcats this year?
Well, successful, yeah. I'd love to win it all, right? But I think a minimum at least one trophy, and then that's like okay. But two, it's like okay, yeah, that's what we expected. But winning it all was obviously the dream. I think the bare minimum is a trophy in something,
Yeah,
and not like
Tyler.
oh we could have been close. Oh, we were almost there. It's like that's no, we're done with
No
that.
more.
We've done that for the past 2 years. It's like it's win it all or nothing.
I like it. I like the attitude. Tyler, I like your attitude about the season, but I love your attitude about going through what you've gone through. I think this story's gonna reach out a lot of people. One little reminder, ladies and gents. I think if we take anything away from Tyler's story, if you've got a lump, if you've got a bump, if you've got something that isn't supposed to be there, go to the fucking hospital and get
Yeah,
checked out. Don't
yeah,
play
yeah.
another entire ice. Don't play another entire ice hockey season and then go. I'll let him off because of COVID, but you get what I'm saying, folks. If you suspect anything, I suspected some. I actually suspected it in my bollock when I played for Basingstoke, and then there's a bit of a worry, but I I could have easily been embarrassed, but instead, one of the juniors, her mum was a doctor. I was like, "Do you mind coming in and look at my balls in the locker room?" Like, do you know what I mean? As bad as
Yeah.
it sounds,
Just
and
yeah, if
I
you got
didn't want to
anything,
do that,
yeah,
but like you get checked out as it's obviously so important. Like you say, you got
yeah,
those follow-up scans, and that's why they were able to do these surgeries, and that's why you're still sitting here chatting to me.
yeah. Get anything checked out, even if you know someone, or your mum or your dad is like, "Oh, I'll go check it." Like, encourage them, force them, drag them out of the house, because if they didn't find my first one, they wouldn't have found the five other ones. Four other ones.
Yeah,
Like you could be sat there with it now, and you wouldn't even know, and that we don't want that. So it's no trouble. It's what the NHS is there for. And if you come back and they say it's nothing, then you are at peace of mind, and it's nothing. But it's always nothing until it's something, all right?
yeah.
So please get checked out, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be sat here still.
Ladies and gents, we're going to end it on that note. What a strong, powerful message to finish with. Best of luck, Tyler, and best of luck to the Swindon Wildcats. Ladies and gents, we will see you very, very soon for an Andy Hemmings interview. Peace.
Thank you.